and that's my view. The way you treat other human beings, these are subhuman monsters. That's what they are. They're called terrorists. It doesn't even seem to matter anymore. Oh, Hamas. Sounds like a food. Oh, man, pass the Hamas. No, I don't think so. No other country in the world, none, is going to tell Israel what to do, how to defend itself and its people, period.
It's been hard to come across truth seekers who are brave to be outspoken and to say it as it is, and to be brave enough to just be bold enough and really say what you think, say what you believe, regardless of its ramifications. If you have seen Mark Levin before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, let's watch this together, and then we'll discuss it afterwards. Kindly subscribe to our channel so a little bit of light will push away a lot of darkness.
You don't rape Jewish women, decapitate Jewish babies, and execute Jewish men and think you're going to get away with it. You're not going to get away with it. As Israel has demonstrated, you're going to die for it. And that's exactly what you deserve. And that's my view. The way you treat other human beings, these are subhuman monsters. That's what they are. They're called terrorists. It doesn't even seem to matter anymore. Oh, Hamas. Sounds like a food. Oh, man, pass the Hamas. No, I don't think so. No other country in the world, none, is going to tell Israel what to do, how to defend itself and its people, period. I want to say this about President Trump. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I worked for Reagan for 8 years. He's a great man in many ways. Peace through strength, make America great again. Those were 1984 and 1985 slogans. When it comes to Israel, there has never, ever been an American leader, period, like Donald Trump supporting the state of Israel, ever. And as an American, let me also say, I couldn't be prouder of our president defending our cops, defending ICE, securing our border, building up our military, all the things he said he would do, crucially important. There has never been a prime minister like Benjamin Netanyahu. Never. I'm a great fan of Menachem Begin. Great man. Great man. But what Benjamin Netanyahu has had to face from enemies within and enemies without is unprecedented. Unprecedented. Even President Trump said to me the other day, and he says it all the time, can you believe they're prosecuting this man? And he's the prime minister of Israel. They're making him sit in that courtroom. Nobody can believe what they're trying to do to one of the greatest warriors ever, ever. And he is the Churchill of our time. And the relationship between, if people understand history, FDR, because Donald Trump in foreign affairs, in many respects, much better than FDR, but the relationship between President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu remind me, as General Keynes said, of the relationship between Franklin Roosevelt and Churchill. Franklin Roosevelt didn't always agree with Churchill, but Churchill felt he had to do certain things, and he did certain things. That's what allies do. They work these things out. It's an ally, it's an alliance, it's a partnership. Unlike the prior administration that was undermining the Israelis, undermining Benjamin Netanyahu, trying to replace him, trying to topple him, on and on and on. So let me just say that we are deeply lucky to have these two men. The ambassador is here. He's here. We've talked about the UN. Look at the Lilliputians. I speak for myself, not for you. Look at the leader of France. He's an embarrassment. He's pathetic. Look at the Quisling who runs Britain. He is pathetic. Even the people in Britain hate him. Look at the jerk in Canada. Yeah, look at the jerk. These are all left-wing governments, by the way. Look at the moron in Australia. Look at them. Look at all four of these guys. That's the West. But look at their opposition parties. To a party, they've said, if we're elected, we will reverse the position of our government on this Palestinian state issue. All four countries. That's conservatives. This issue of anti-Semitism can't be wished away. It's on the rise. It's spreading like a poison. It's all throughout Europe. And what's interesting in Europe, when you look at this guy, Tommy Robinson, in Britain, who they call a white nationalist. He's not a white nationalist. He's trying to defend his country, Professor Skinner, against the Islamists who are conquering Europe. If you go back and you read the so-called scholars in the 1960s of these Islamists, they tell you they're going to use immigration to conquer the West. It's revolution by immigration. For 4 years, our border was open, and we're paying a price for it. In Europe, their borders are still open, and they're paying a price for it. Which are the countries that support Israel? Hungary. Their border's not open. Argentina. Their border's not open. You have elements in the Dutch. Their borders are open, but they're trying to close them, the opposition party and so forth. This is, right now in Europe, it's the left, mostly, not exclusively, that has turned on itself, the West, and has turned on the Jews. Leo did probably the most brilliant explanation of this I've ever heard, Leo. And you're exactly right. Professor Skinner, you too. This is a war on us. They seek to destroy us. And rather than beat our chest, we need to understand they are destroying us. But they won't win. Not in America, anyway. There's just too damn many stubborn, red-blooded Americans to put up with it. I can't say the same for Europe. There aren't a lot of red-blooded Americans over there. This is a battle we have on the radical left, what I call the fusion of the Marxists and the Islamists. That's what you see in the streets. That's what's taking place. Some people call it the green, red, whatever. I've been talking about this for 10 years on the radio. And it's here. It's in our universities. It's in our, as Julie was talking about, K through 12. It's in our media. It is this fusion of Marxism and Islamism. And you see it all over Europe, the fusion of the left wing and Islamism. But we have another problem in our country. And that is people on the right. I don't even like to call them on the right. They're just nuts who have platforms, who are podcasters, like Tucker Carlson, as I call him. We need to name names. And luckily, that name stuck. I don't mean Tucker, I mean Carlson. Then we have Candace Owens. And we have others who kind of want to walk the line. Well, it's all right, thank you. But then we have others who kind of walk the line, that's right, who want to be sort of one or the other. This is a cancer. It's affecting our young people. They affect our young people, and then they say, look, all these young people are turning against Israel. This is a cancer. We need to fight it. We need to speak out against it. I decided in May, I'll take it upon myself to start. Why? And I'm not going to get into the meeting, because I met with the president. There was a discussion. whatever. And this guy puts a post out about how I'm going to start World War III, or how I'm going to get all these Americans coming. How? We don't have an infantry there, but we're going to do it. You see, and he goes on and on, that I'm a neocon. His father was a neocon. I've never been a neocon in my life. I'm a Reaganite. That's how I started out, a traditional conservative. His father was a Democrat in the Reagan administration, and Tarleton worked for Bill Kristol, who's a neocon, at a magazine that was a neocon magazine, and he's running around. Look, the bottom line is these people need to be exposed. So I told my wife, I said, look, I got to go into the sewer for a few months. I don't want to go in the sewer. I got to go in the sewer. That's where these bastards are. They're in the sewer. We're going in the sewer. She said, go. So I went in the sewer. I'm not completely out yet, trying. They need to be fought where they are. They need to be confronted where they are. They need to be exposed for where they are. They're getting more radicalized, more extreme, and in some ways that's actually helpful. Here's what bothers me. I don't see many of our elected leaders speaking out against these people. Do you? Do you? Why? They're not that powerful. They think they're powerful. They're not that powerful. We need to rise up, speak against these people. We need to make sure our younger generation isn't corrupted by these people. And we can do this at the dinner table, at the breakfast table, here, any meetings or associations or seminars or whatever it is. We can't ignore it anymore. We must confront this now. Because quite frankly, the Democrat Party is gone. It's gone. There's a Fetterman here and what else is there? We're in the city where they're likely to elect this Marxist Islamist Jew hater, which is the city with more Jews in the United States than any other city in the country. How does this happen? Well, I tell my wife, I don't care about how or why, I care about victory. That's all I care about. We have to crush them. We have to defeat them. We have to use our brains. We have to use our capabilities. We have to use our media. We have to use everything we have. I don't care about why. I don't care about any of the rest of that. I'm not a psychiatrist, nor do I need a psychiatrist. I know the enemy, and I know evil when I see it. Victory is the only way to deal with it. They're very thin-skinned, by the way. Very thin-skinned, which is why mocking them is a very good thing. They don't like to be mocked. It's a big, big problem. This anti-Semitism is growing in the country, also because, as people have said, it is funded. The main country funding it is Qatar. Q-A-T-A-R. I think they changed the pronunciation, but it's always Qatar to me. Qatar. Qatar plays a double game. Peacenik and warmonger. Peacenik, nobody notices, don't worry. Bye-bye. Yeah. Peacenik and a warmonger. And they've bought a lot of America. Businessmen, politicians, ex-politicians, law firms, sports groups, they try and present a picture of a mainstream entity. They are a terrorist organization. They supported and funded the Taliban. Oh, we got somebody back. Did you see that? We got somebody back from the Taliban, thanks to Qatar. Excuse me, seriously? Oh, Qatar's the mediator with Hamas. They funded Hamas. Now they're the mediator with Hamas? I'm sorry, I'm not stupid. I see Qatar. And now Qatar, of course, wants an apology from Israel for trying to take out the Hamas leadership. The Hamas leadership. I think we in America need an apology from Qatar. I think Israel needs an apology from Qatar. I think free people all over the world need an apology from Qatar, because Qatar Qatar is spreading more terrorism than any country on the face of the earth. And there are many of them that are doing it too. Now look at the Middle East. I'm rambling, but that's what I do. Look at the Middle East. It's completely changed, thanks to your government. Completely changed in 2 years. I keep hearing this war is going on a long time. It is going on a long time. When you have 9 million people, and you have the people who work in cafes and taxis and all, who are part of the fighting forces, and people in their cabinet with children who are also fighting, and their ambassador to the United States who lost his son in this war. These people, they're not just fighting, their families are fighting. Their cousins are fighting, their fathers are fighting. It has an impact on the economy, it has the impact on a nation's psychology and everything else. Look what they've done. 9 million people. I don't even know how many Arabs there are. What are there, 150 million? I don't know, maybe even more than that. You would think Israel's the empire attacking this poor little Arab nation. No, Israel's the tiny little country. They're the empire with tens of millions of people in 27 countries or whatever. It's unbelievable. So, they all turn on Israel. Europe turns on Israel. Why? Because Israel was supposed to sue for peace, like usual. Take the hit, whatever it is, fight for a year or so, and then sue for peace. This time's different. Victory. Victory. Hamas. Hamas is dead, if they'll let them finish him. But Hamas is begging for survival. That's why it's holding on to these hostages. That's all they have. Hezbollah, the most brilliant tactic the world has ever seen. By the way, how many of you in here have cell phones? Make sure you turn them off. It's a joke that the Prime Minister was using. It's a good joke. Maybe not here, but other places. Iran looks like a paper tiger by the time Israel was done with Iran. I mean, you don't even hear from them anymore. Now, you know they're doing stuff, but still. And the Houthis, it's still left to the Israelis to deal with the Houthis. Everybody else has left the field, pretty much. In the Middle East, Israel is respected more today than ever before, despite what they say, despite the UN. It is a powerful military, maybe one of the top 4, 5, 6 in the world, with 9 million people. This is extraordinary, what Israel has accomplished. And I also want to say this. Their technology is beyond belief. They have, a couple of years ago I was talking to David about they need to develop this laser stuff. This will be a game changer. I mean, take all this stuff out. There they are with the laser. First, before us, before the Japanese, before the South Koreans, before the Chinese, before the Russians. First. And what are they going to do? They're going to share it with us. Iron Dome. The first with a nationwide dome. I'm not going to get into it. I know information from my days at Justice. We don't have a dome. A couple of cities are protected. That's it. Now we're going to build a dome. Where do you think we're going to get some of our technology from? Them. Israel. And I also have this other thought that I mentioned the other day. I just kept thinking about it. What if there wasn't an Israel? What if there wasn't an Israel in the Middle East? What would happen to the United States? How many of you here actually believe that if there wasn't an Israel, most of these Arab countries would be our allies, as opposed to the Chinese and the Russians? Are you kidding me? These are dictatorships. These are genocidal regimes. They have much more in common with the communist Chinese and the fascistic Russians. They would have no reason to be aligned with us. I am convinced that one of the reasons some of these countries are not aligned with our enemy and are more aligned with us is because of Israel, because they don't know what to do about Israel, so they talk to the United States. And I really believe that. Now, I'm asked when I come in here, as if I'm Nostradamus, what do I think is going to happen with these discussions that are probably going on now and tomorrow? on these big, big issues. I don't have any inside information. But let me give you Mark's position. There will never be a Palestinian state. Period, period, period. It can be put on paper, there can be promises, there can never be a Palestinian state. When you show me the Mahatma Gandhi or the Martin Luther King of the Palestinians, maybe I'll think about it. Tell me, who is the peace leader among the Palestinians? Does anybody know? There aren't any. That's what we know. If there was a vote today, 80% would vote for Hamas. That's exactly what would happen. That's the indoctrination of it. No, you don't get your own country. That's number one. Number two, this is just Mark, Judea and Samaria. That's where our faith was born. It was born right there. You can go to Shiloh, and you can look at it. It's not Palestinian territory. My dad used to say, he wasn't all that religious, but he had a lot of common sense. He loved Israel, never went to Israel. He said, please show me the Palestinians in the Bible. I said, they're not there. He said, case closed. That was it for him. But when it comes to Judea and Samaria, what is this West Bank stuff? 1948, Jordan steals this land and calls it the West Bank. If we're going to call it anything, maybe we should call it the East Bank of Israel. What do you think of that, Mr. Ambassador? So it's the East Bank of Israel, if that makes people happy. Israel can never, ever give up those areas and that land to the Palestinians or anybody else. Period. Period. No other country has the authority to make declarations. It's so funny. Let me ask you something. California, Texas, New Mexico, maybe some other areas, those were Mexican, were they not? Were they not, Leo? We defeated the Mexicans and we took them. Do we have any discussion about returning them, quote unquote, to the Mexicans over our dead body? We're not going to return California. You know what? Maybe we should return California. That's a whole other story. California, New Mexico, Arizona. You look at these areas, they're not going anywhere. In fact, we're taking the Panama Canal. We're taking Greenland. We got a whole bunch of great ideas, and I'm for them. So the oddity of an area that is the home of the Jews, the birth of Judaism, 4,000 years ago, that's occupied, is so absurd. You look at any other country, look at Russia, look at China, look at all these countries that walk out of the UN and so forth and so on. Israel has a claim to Judea and Samaria in a way that no other country has a claim to anything else. Anything else. That's right, it's God-given. And so those are two little hurdles as far as I'm concerned when it comes to this sort of thing. And of course, Israel needs to be able to have 100% security. Those IDF soldiers didn't fight and die to surrender Israel's security to somebody else. But I take heart in knowing that we have President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu, and these are two men that have America's interests at heart, that have Israel's interests at heart. And I see, God bless you, and I see in every one of these instances at the UN or elsewhere, it's the United States voting, the United States voting, the United States says no, the United States says no. And I know if Biden were in there, the United States would be thrown in with the enemy and our adversaries and so forth. So I'm deeply heartened that Donald Trump is our president, and I feel strongly that he'll do the right thing by the United States and the state of Israel, as he would with all of our other allies too. And I feel strongly Prime Minister Netanyahu will do the very best he can. You know, no offense, the Israeli governmental system is like the Italian governmental system. No offense. You got parties with 3 people who get a say at the table. I'm saying, who's this guy? He just decided to create a party, gets 12 votes, and he decides who the government's going to be. I'm saying, who set this up? The European socialists who founded Israel, they set it up. It's the biggest pain in the ass you can possibly imagine. Excuse my French. Because if Netanyahu were running on his own, he would win, he'd have his cabinet, so forth and so on. But there they are. What's Moshe think, the secretary of widgets over here? He's got an objection. Oh my God, Moshe. You get my point? I love our system a lot more, by the way. Let's see, what else can I ramble about? I took notes on this. Let me just say one other thing. The people in this room, thank you. Every one of you, you're not up here, you may not have a formal title, it doesn't matter. Every one of you is very meaningful. The things that you do are very, very important. And I want to thank you. You're here for a reason. Why the hell they have a meeting here, which takes 3 hours to get here, I'll never know, through the traffic and so forth. But here we are. And I just want you to know, you're all important. You all matter. You come up to me, I cannot tell you how honored I am. People say, how do you do this? How do I do what? I have a big mouth. That's how I do it. It's either at the dinner table or behind a microphone or on television. It's a great honor. And I want to thank you all for what you do in government, out of government, whether you're well known or not known, it doesn't matter. You in your heart and your soul, you know you're doing something wonderful. This news outlet is crucial. I go to it every day. I look at it every day. I want to know what's going on, what's thinking. Where's Tobin here? This man's unbelievable. His columns are unbelievable. There are others too. There are contributors too. I want to thank them as well. Keep heart. Keep fighting. We American Jews, remember what they're doing in Israel. They've been up against it. The least we can do in this country is to fight hard, back them, back our country. God bless you. Be safe. I love you all. I really do.
Mr. Mark Levin, we're used to listening to him being a little more assertive, a little more on his game. Today he was much more tamed and relaxed that we're used to seeing him. But when he gets passionate, he really does get passionate. And it's definitely worth watching and listening to him because his heart is in the right place. His compass is in the right place. And he says it as it is. So when we listen to his presentation here, what he was emphasizing is the reality, that's the facts on the ground, that we keep on seeming to forget. Let's go back to the beginning of this. Who does Israel belong to? How did the Jewish people get to Israel? Is there any older book than the Bible? What is the most sold book till today? It's the Bible. Well, let's read through the beginning of the Bible. Right at the beginning, the very first verses says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Why does the Torah, the Bible, begin with that declaration? Why not with the commandments? Isn't that what the Torah, the Bible is about? It's about a set of rules and guidelines. But it starts out with the concept of creation for us to, for all time, always recognize and remember that God created the heavens and the earth. And God decided who is going to live where. God decided that he's going to send Abraham to Israel. He said, leave your family, leave your parents who are idol worshippers, leave your birthplace and go to the land that I'm going to show you. And he sent them to Israel. Israel, the Jewish people have been there before any others. After they have arrived, after 40 years in the desert, they have been there. You're talking about 3,337 years ago. So for 3,000 years, the first 40 years they were in the desert, so I'll say 3,000 years, roughly. 3,000 years we have been in Israel. Now, how does any country become a country? How do they conquer land? How do they deal with their borders? Sometimes it's peaceful. There's an agreement. These are our borders. And sometimes it's by war. Well, think about it. Israel has been living there for 3,000 years. And then the Roman Empire came and destroyed the Second Temple and dispersed them. That's 2,000 years ago. And we've been on the run since. Now, 1948, we get to come back home. So we got Israel back because the United Nations declared that these are your borders. And then wars began. What happens when you have a war? You fight. What are you fighting for? For real estate. And whoever is the stronger wins, whoever is the weaker loses. And that's happened throughout all history. And he brought out the idea of Mexico and Texas, California and Texas in comparison to Mexico. Yeah, we used to be Mexico. I am right now living in San Diego, in a city called Poway. It's north of San Diego. Mexico is about 40 minutes from here. And we realize that this used to be Mexico. I'm sitting right now on real estate that used to be Mexico. But America conquered it from Mexico, and it became America. It's the United States of America. Have we ever in a second been called occupiers? Have we for a second considered or thought about, okay, Mexico, you can take back California, you can take back Texas? Absurd. And that's what Mr. Mark Levin was equating it to. Israel has the right to exist. They are the rightful owners of the land. And any geologist that has unearthed proof time and time again that the Jewish people were the indigenous people of Israel. We were the ones who lived there 3,000 years ago. We have physical proof, we have biblical proof. It's indisputable that we were there before any of the Muslims have ever, or Arabs came there. That's number one. Just by having our right to a land that was given to us by God, and we have lived there for 3,000 years. The next is possession. What did they say about the rule of possession? Yes, Israel has possessed this land from 1948 to now. We're there. It's our country. We occupy it. We developed it. We grew it up. It's ours. And then war. We have had so many wars. Talking about the War of Independence, talking about the 6-Day War, the Yom Kippur War, the Lebanon War, the Gaza Wars. Yeah, we fought a war. We were stronger. They were weaker. We won. It's ours. Move on. Just like any other country that goes to war over territory. And so we need to be able to put things into perspective. And this whole idea that Israel the occupiers is absurd and has to be demythed and has to go away. We need to remember God is the one who gave us this land, and that's why it is ours. We also have to recognize and realize that the war is not really about land. It's not really about real estate. It's more about a jihadist war against Judaism and against the West. It's a much deeper and much more lethal type of a war than real estate. It's an ideological war that the extreme Islamist jihadists have been pushing forever since the 1920s, when the Arab Caliphate is to take over the world, take over all the West. And that is in essence what this fight is truly about. It's not territorial. It hasn't been territorial for a long time. It's because they want to get rid of Israel. They want to get rid of the Jewish people. And we have to protect ourselves. We have been through so much in our 3,000 years of existence that we can finally say enough is enough. 80 years ago, when Hitler tried to make Europe Judenrein, of Jew-free, we didn't have any way to defend ourselves. We went like sheep to the slaughter. 6 million. Do you realize the numbers, the sheer numbers of 6 million innocent Jews? Babies, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles, grandparents, just indiscriminately killed 6 million. This is the sheer numbers of it. When there is, God forbid, a car accident and 2 people die, it's a tragedy. When there's a shooting, when there is a tragedy, a plane crash, 200 people die, 60 people die, it's a tragedy. But think of the sheer numbers of 6 million. And we're a small group to begin with. We're 15 million Jews. And here 6 million of us were gassed and shot into mass graves and been through the worst of labor camps and gulags. We've been through the worst and worst. And here we finally are able to arrive back home as a safe haven so that we can rebuild ourselves as Jewish people. And let's not forget, who are the Jewish people? Why are we here? What's our mandate? And why do they hate us so much? Our mandate as Jewish people is a very important mission that God gave to us 3,337 years ago. And the mandate was, be a light unto the nations. I'm going to give you the 10 Commandments. I'm going to give you the Torah. I'm going to bring you to a land called Israel. But your responsibility is going to be a light unto the nations. We took that responsibility very seriously. And that has been our journey. Our journey is to be the people of the book, the people who follow God's laws. We have 613 laws that we abide by, and we respect and observe the Sabbath every weekend, all the holidays. Till today, after 3,000 years, we're still committed, we're still dedicated to the precepts of the Bible and what God set us out to. But with that comes a responsibility and opportunity to be able to be a light unto the nations. And the last 77 years, that is exactly what Israel has been. Israel has landed on its feet and has been a provision to the world wide, with gifts of innovations, inventions in all areas of life. Look what Israel has accomplished in the last 77 years in areas of agriculture, in water filtration, in arms, in defense, in technology, electricity, in medicine, in academics, in art. Israel has been on the forefront in all areas. The medical advances that Israel accomplishes is beyond anyone's imagination. But when Israel reaches a breakthrough, it doesn't keep it to itself, it shares it with the world. Because we are to be a light unto the nations. So this is all that we are asking the world. Let us do our thing. You will benefit from it. Just allow us to live. That's all we're asking for. Let us have secure borders and let our citizens continue in producing what it has been producing in the last 77 years. Let us live in peace. Let the world benefit from leaving us in peace so that we'll continue on being a light unto the nations. Let's pray, and we hope that that happens soon. God bless you. God loves you.